everybody. Thanks for joining. I'm Atul Patel, CEO and co-founder of Orbee, here at the Orbee booth at NADA 2024. We have a guest here, Scott Davis, joining us, and really excited about how we're going to work together. We'll get into that.
Yep.
Would you like to introduce yourself and kind of what Volie's all about
sure.
and your background?
Yeah, sounds good. Volie is a Fort Myers-based company. We're BDC software. We started in 2017 and rolled out our first customer at the end of that year. We started with the vendors. I didn't want to practice on the dealers, so done a lot of that. But we work with 30 automotive call centers, and then quite a few other automotive vendors, and they've got about 12,000 active organizations. We started selling direct to dealer, our BDC software, in 2021. We finished the year at 569. So
wow,
we love what
incredible.
we do. It's exciting, and excited to be here today.
And so lead management is sort of true to my heart. That was my first startup,
Sure.
right? Lead ROI. And lead management is very different than CRM.
Sure.
Let's talk a little bit about that. Let's talk about sort of steady paced selling that comes out of CRM versus call center operations and the high throughput you have to go through.
Yeah, so we do service and sales BDCs. Outside of automotive, as you know, as we've talked about, everyone uses call center software because if you use desk phones, all you can do is manage activities, you can't manage efficiency.
Right.
So we're bringing that to the automotive space with service BDCs. We've tripled or quadrupled their output. Sales BDC, it's much more than that.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's not a CRM is a very task-driven thing where call center application, they go from activity to activity, and it keeps them moving.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I love about lead management in general is when I'm done with the task, it tells me what I should do next.
Yes.
In fact, it takes me in there and says, now do this, versus what you're describing where CRM is sort of like, I finish a task, I sit back, and then I maybe go do the next thing. This is a very linear process. Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, and like in a sales BDC, most dealers have thrown away leads way too soon, right?
Way too soon, yeah. But so now let's drill into how we're going to work together.
Sure.
So Orbee obviously sees a lot of events from a lot of vendors, a lot of the activity happening throughout the experience, and so there are signals in this data.
Yeah.
And normally you send things to Facebook to advertise and Google to retarget, but there's a human side that's a big opportunity, saying this segment of people should get a phone call, and here's what the context of that phone call might look like. And so let's talk about how that's going to work, right? Where Orbee sees all this and then pushes into that through this amazing API, right? APIs aren't normally out there in the wild. Yours is, which is great. And so being able to push it into a specific work list or a campaign, and now all of a sudden that call center person knows I have to get into the zone to talk to these people who have looked at a couple of VDPs and stopped engaging. I'm going to talk to them about this.
Yep.
Let's talk, obviously we're just brainstorming here.
Yeah. So, I mean, you guys will push in the audiences. The data will be perfectly merged from customer to customer.
Yep.
When they're done, we'll send you the webhooks so you guys can get the very rich data about what happened. It'll be a great integration. It'll be so helpful for the dealers.
Yeah, now let's talk about, so let's say the consumer that's in this segment gets put into a bucket.
Yep.
It goes over to Volie, the BDC is calling it.
Yep.
You're recording the outbound call, there's sentiment in there, and the call's transcript is now either confirming or not confirming the web activity that led to that segment in the first place. All of a sudden, the call itself is sort of a fulfilling, it's giving more data to the segmentation. And it just becomes a fulfilling prophecy, if you will.
Sure.
Right? And it just gets more and more targeted, more and more contextual. And like you said, leads that are incubated the right way. Maybe there are leads that aren't worth really pushing hard. It's more like, hey, I just want to let you know we're so-and-so dealer, happy to be here if you need us. And then it's kind of waiting for the next signal. Is that kind of how you would see things? And if not, I want you to kind of give your
really
perspective.
the neat thing about it is it'll only get better with data, right? So if we're talking, we can send you back 330 events, whether they clicked on an email whether they responded to an SMS, the call recording, all those things. Just think how good we'll be together with millions of calls that go through this. The prioritization and the focus they'll be able to give to these, it'll be that much better.
And then, of course, the scripting, right? Like, you know, when I was involved in mortgage, you know, there'd be specific scripts, right? Because you'd fill out a form at Lending Tree. They'd already know if you're excellent, good, fair, poor, credit. And what I say to you was very tactical, very scripted. Yeah. And so talk a little bit about how humans can still be kind of sort of assisted by things like scripts, things like context cues, and things like, you know, elements like that.
Yeah, these are hard phone calls. A lot of the calls that you're going to push in are hard phone calls. The scripts are very important to give the people a basis and to ground themselves for where they need to go with this call.
But there's still a human element that lets them adapt.
Well, yeah, I mean, and we can require questions. We can move them from place to place, but hopefully they're so good at it that they don't need the script at some point.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
well, it's like human learning instead of machine learning. I like that. Well, look, I'm making it easy for dealers to use great software in their workflows is kind of what we're focused on. And so I love this. We've been talking for a while. Yeah. We finally see there's a use case here, and the industry is getting more open to this kind of thing. So I'm happy I ran into you in the V20 group. And, you know, we chatted a few times, and I love where you guys are going, and excited to work together.
Likewise.
All right. Good. Okay. Thank you.